let's not even answer the question, right, Tony? Because you're right. They're selling the truck. It didn't work. So let's talk about why they're selling the truck.
Right. And that's, I'm glad that you mentioned that, Helen, because to me, I ask myself the same thing, right? Why do food truckers get into doing this? And then why do people get out of doing this? And everybody's answer could be different, right? People have a lot of different opinions and stuff like that. But I think by creating the community that we're trying to create right now, right, it allows people a better look at going, okay, well, I thought this is the way that the world was, but I wasn't really engaged in this group, in this community. But now I can get better insight from the folks that are out there on the streets to make me a better consumer of the information. Yeah. So you're gonna learn when you talk to people. They're gonna tell you, what works and what doesn't work for them. There's a huge difference between competition and collaboration. The collaboration happens at the top, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not they're different and unique in the marketplace. People are going to want to seek that out. And then back to Helen with the mobile app. When you have the ability to really locate where those trucks are through an app, it's going to make your world so much better and more efficient. Because you can just pick up your phone and be like, oh, that's where they're at. Bam, right there.
Yeah. Also, we'll do a quick thing. There's Gray's
Oh, look at it.
And now I'm on his main page, and I'm just going to click the map, and then I can see exactly where he's at right now and that he's in service.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yes. Thanks for the shout out, Tony. And I'm looking at this other comment here, which is kind of fun, and it's a little off topic because we thought we were going to be doing a lot of questions, but it's something we should talk about. It says, I'm so proud of my daughter. She started her baking business her senior year out of high school when COVID shut down. That's so cool. And I love that we're able to share this kind of stuff with the community. Mm-hmm. So important.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when it comes to baking, I think that it's really big. I'm a culinary person, so I went to culinary school and I was like, no, I don't want anything to do with baking. And now as time goes on, I find that like the baking portion and my relationship with bread makers and pâtisseurs, it's like, oh, that's another portion that's very important to me and what I've got going on. So.
Yeah, for sure. And this one's got 25 comments already. People are like, you're so proud, etc. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because we have a lot of food truckers that have mobile apps, and it's not about like people worry that if they put their kids on the video or ask their kids to go out and tell people in line, here, go ahead and download the app or take a look at the menu. But it's not. It's like it would be just like if you were at any other business and your kid was like went to work with you that day and they were just helping out and they're proud of their parents. So it's okay. Yeah.
That's why we have a tip jar for child labor on the cartel truck.
That's right.
That's right. Child labor. They're in my family, so they're my kids.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, and the other thing is I've got one food trucker. Her daughter's 7 years old, and she goes out on fun for Saturdays and works the window. And I know Patrick's worked with his kids. It's great to teach them responsibility and how a business works. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's teaching them responsibility. It's teaching them how to engage with customers and engage in society, and it makes them a better speaker. I really think there's just so much that you can learn when you're doing these kinds of things, especially at a young age, right? Because young kids are very impressionable and they really absorb a lot. And so they watch what's going on. So when you have folks like Patrick Bolaños, which I'll call him at 5:30 and he's still in the office, right? I'm like, Patrick, get out of here. Go see your family or whatever. Right. But your kids are going to look up to you because they go, man, my dad is doing stuff. And then this is what he does and how he engages in the community, which I think that stuff is just absolutely huge.
I love it. I love when the kids are around. All right. We'll jump back over to the tips and tricks group. Let me see if there's some good questions here. Here's a weird one. Has anyone ever took their business on a road trip, like traveling to other cities to get more food to more people? Chef, I'm gonna let you go.
Hey, listen, dude, I'm hands off on this, man. I got to pass the microphone to you, Helen, because in my mind, I'm sitting here wondering some of the same things, right? So the wonderful folks at Trailer King Builders are building me a brand spanking new food truck, right? And I'm like, This thing is designed to be out on the streets. So it's like, Helen, do you have any input on what folks need to do to be able to be like, okay, this is what you need to do to go to operate in a totally different state, a totally different big city, stuff like that?
Okay, yeah, well, that's a lot to unpack. So, yeah. So right now there's about 12 answers, and it's funny that you just mentioned another state because I was thinking that. One of the gentlemen who says he's in Utah, he has a business license with the health department, but he can serve any city. And then some other people say you have to go to and get health permits for that city or that state, and that's true.
Right.
I know in Texas it's like a nightmare for my food trucks because they got different counties. And
yeah.
they have to have like permits for like every little tiny little town, and there's so many of them. I think I've learned. Yeah. So, but what I would say is you got to do your homework, and this is something we actually talked about on Momentum Monday. We have Momentum Monday with all the food truckers, talk about leveraging their mobile app and making sure they're getting new customers and new orders every single month.
Yeah.
And when we talk about that, we actually covered this a couple weeks ago, and one of my food truckers who's been with me for like 3 years, Nancy from Sugar Shack, she has a website, and I'll make sure I post it below, and you can go to the website and it costs $60, and you can get a list of events in all the states for the whole year. And then what she did, it tells you everything like on the granular level. And I have other food truckers that use this source too. She just brought it up on the call and reminded me of it. And you can see everything. You can see how many people for the last 5 years and every year attended, how many food trucks were there, what kind of food trucks were there. So you can say in your mind, okay, there was no meat trucks there. There were dessert trucks and there was a hamburger truck. I think the cartel truck will work. I think the corn dog thing's going to fly here, and then also you get to see, did they charge at the gate or is it a free event? So there's a lot of, and how much did they charge? So when you start looking at things on a granular level, then you can pick what you want to do. Next, you go ahead, and we do what we call growth markers. We measure growth markers every week on Momentum Monday. And if you want to know what those are, come to Momentum Monday. But her growth markers, her numbers are so much higher than everyone else's because what she did is she signed up this year for 43 events, but within her state and maybe a few of them outside, and then she got those permits. But those events, she spent time figuring it out. She sent emails to everyone. You can do a template email and then send it to all those contacts. And then whoever got back to her right away, and I like this tip that she gave the group, that's who she went with. She had already identified that it was a good fit and that she was going to be profitable and it was the right price margins and things like that. But because it's managed in a way that they get back to you right away, she's like, that tells me something. People take weeks and weeks and don't follow up. That means the event's probably going to fall apart too. So it was she went with the organized ones. Her first 6 so far have been phenomenal. She's bringing in killer numbers, and every week she shares them with us on Monday. So she's doing a great job. But I think that would be the tip. Is you really got to look at the numbers.
You have to look at the numbers, but I think that you really have to have a plan and a strategy, right? I was on a reality TV show for entrepreneurs last July, right? And I came up with this crazy concept because the game that they play, they were like, okay, you're going to have 15 minutes to put together a 3-minute briefing on how you are going to scale your company. And so all of a sudden I told my business partner, I was like, bam, this is what we're going to do. I don't know where it came from. It just came to me like a blinding light, right? If I had the food truck during football season, Division I schools do roughly 12 home games, 12 away games. At every one of these Division I schools, there's roughly between 80 and 100,000 seats at those stadiums, right? So if you can get into those places and you can only do 10%, right? 10% of 80,000 is 8,000 people. By $10, that's $80,000.
Yeah.
I mean, these are bonker numbers, right? So as I was going through my question life, it's like, dude, I'm a food dude and I want to do something, but guess what? I can't take my brick and mortar to the event. I can take a food truck to an event, right?